Let's talk about writing to a file. That would be file output, right? Instead of input, file output. So that's part of file I/O. Let's continue to talk about that. So we do know that we want to try and accept, we want to have these blocks anytime we deal with file I/O, file input and output. Why? Because there can be many things that can happen, like a file, maybe it's not found, maybe we don't have access rights to it, maybe we don't have read access or write access, or maybe there's an error in general. So we want to catch for that so we can recover, and we know the benefit of that is so that we don't stop the execution of the program, right? We don't halt the execution of the program. So with that in mind, we are always going to have the try and accept blocks around file I/O because that's best practice. And here what we're going to do is we're going to open with a context manager. We're going to use output.txt with the write mode to use my file as the handler. And what we're going to do is we're going to write this string to it with a new line. And we're going to have this string added to it as well. We're going to write this string to it as well without a new line. And I have this output text file here. And let's run this and see what happens. We see nothing happens because nothing's being printed, but let's go to the output and we see that this is now being added. Now, if I added anything else here, like I love Hondas, I love Honda and I love Nissan. I'm not sure why anybody would say this when I can have something else here, but just for kicks, we'll run this and we'll see that we have I love Honda and I love Nissan. So far, so good, but let's say we didn't want that. Let's say we wanted that to be added to the original file. So again, we can say Ferrari and Tesla. And Tesla here. And instead of write, we can use A for append in the mode, and that will append to this current file and not replace the contents completely. So it all depends on your requirements, but this is something that it is very useful to know and be aware of. So oftentimes you do want to append, and what would happen if you save it and run it? Well, nothing happens here, but we know here we have I love Honda, I love Nissan. Remember the last sentence in I love Nissan, or the last string, didn't have a new character line. So the new line, I love Ferrari, it's going to be right next to it, right next to the last line. And then we do have a new line with this one, and no new line with this one. That's why it stops at line 3, and it doesn't have a line 4. So I hope this makes a lot of sense. This is the key to dealing with writing to a file.